welcome to a special Battle of Plattsburgh edition of our Artifact Corner series. We will be doing 3 videos featuring artifacts that were recovered from the Battle of Plattsburgh. Today we will be looking at these 2 copper draft markers. One is an 8-foot marker and the other is a 20-foot marker. Each are made of copper and show some signs of aging. This is hardly surprising given the amount of time they spent underwater. We are not sure if these draft markers are British or American. So, what is a draft marker? A draft marker is something affixed to the ship to indicate how deep the hull of a vessel is sitting in the water. As you load heavy things onto a boat, the boat will inevitably sit lower in the water. So if you are loading very heavy things, like cannons and shot to be fired from said cannons, men, and provision for the men onto a ship, the ship's hull will sit deeper in the water. The draft marker is there to let you know how deep your hull is. This is very important because you do not want to strike bottom with your vessel. When you are sailing a vessel out at sea, if you are away from shore, the likelihood that you will hit bottom with your ship is small. But on an inland body of water, like, say, Lake Champlain, there are many rocky outcroppings and shoals that may come up out of seemingly nowhere. By 1814, Lake Champlain had been mapped by Europeans for over 200 years, so the lake was fairly well mapped by both the Americans and the British. But the Americans definitely had a home field advantage, since this was quite literally their neck of the woods. Still, it was very important for both sides to know how deep their boats were sitting in the water. On September 11, 1814, the 2 fleets of vessels engaged on Lake Champlain, just past Cumberland Head. The British and American fleets were fairly similarly matched, with the exception of the range of their guns. The British had more long-range cannons than the Americans, but thanks to the skills of Thomas MacDonough, the commander of the American fleet, the British were outgunned and maneuvered. The American fleet had been well trained, while the British fleet had few trained seamen. The commander of the British fleet, Captain George Downey, had mostly French-Canadian militiamen who did not have experience as sailors. The battle also began inauspiciously for the British when said commander, Captain Downey, was decapitated by a 20-pound cannonball 15 minutes into the engagement. After 2 hours of fierce battle on the water, the British surrendered to the Americans. It was a hard-fought battle. The British lost 4 of their warships, 186 of their men were killed, and 220 were wounded. The Americans lost 104 men, and 116 men were wounded. The Americans lost none of their vessels. As I mentioned earlier, we don't know if these draft markers are from an American vessel or from a British ship. One of the conundrums surrounding these pieces is the 20-foot draft marker. Neither the British or the American fleets had a ship with a draft that deep. So why was it on a vessel? We may never know the answer. These 2 pieces have been carefully restored and preserved by the Conservation Lab at the Lake Champlain Maritime Museum and are a part of their collections. We are so grateful for the generosity of the Marine Research Institute at LCMM. If you'd like to learn more, please check out their website, lcmm.org. We hope you enjoyed this video in commemoration of the Battle of Plattsburgh, and thanks so much for stopping by.